Well, good morning everybody. Only just, because I've had a little bit of a sleep in this morning, and anyway, I thought I'd just show you what I managed to get done in the garden yesterday. Sorry, the radio is a little bit loud at the moment. Jack, come on out. So as you can see, it's been snowing and it's beginning to melt now, so that's not too bad. Quite a lot of snow though. It was quite surprising. So I woke up at about 5 this morning and I looked outside. It all seemed very bright because there was an almost full moon, so a waxing moon, and a lot of snow. So a lot of reflection, you know, all that beautiful white light. Now, first of all, one of the big jobs I got done yesterday was moving all the Bretensis willow from here and dealing with it, and also all the dogwoods. That was beautiful lime green dogwoods. Got a few more up there just on the bank, and I've got some fuchsia here still to deal with, but I'll show you what I did. I was kept very busy yesterday, so I've got a few more here just to put through the shredder. And the shredder gives me these beautiful sort of organic little sort of wood chips, which when you put down on top of vegetable beds and flower beds, very quickly turns to soil. And that's one of the things that I've done over all the years, is create more and more soil. So you can see what I've done with the willow here. I've sort of logged it all up. This will take about 9 to 12 months to dry out properly. Makes incredibly good wood for the stove. Get a really high intense heat from it. So this is my wood pile. All this has been harvested from Bealtaine Cottage Woodland Sanctuary and harvested sustainably, so only done just through pruning and coppicing. So I'll take you on round and show you some more of what I've been doing. So I'm now on another sack of wool here, and I've managed to empty one complete compost bin. So I've got lots of compost there, which I've been using in containers. So remember that old basket that was broken, that I was painting up with wood preservative in the shed? Well, I finished that yesterday. You can just see it here. So what I did, I finished putting the wood preservative on, which will help to keep it a little bit longer, help to preserve it a little bit longer. And then I filled it with, filled it in that I filled it on the inside, like an inside lining, with wool and a little bit of moss as well. Then of course I put, you know, the compost in and the compost in, and then I put this lovely little ilex or holly, little variegated holly into it, and then I topped it all off then with moss, because of course I've got masses of moss growing here. Now this little basket had pansies in it last autumn, and that was on the doorstep where those daffodils are now. So I did the same thing with this. I emptied it all out and redid it, refilled it, and then I put little cuttings of Senecchio into it, which actually will root very, very easily. So then I continued on round, and I put, you can't see it now because of the snow, but I managed to put some moss in around the tops of the pots to preserve the soil, and over here as well on these little daffodils, and also around the little pine tree which I have in this pot. So I put lots of moss in around the top of that. So that was just some of the work that I got involved in yesterday. It was beautiful working outdoors, but very, very cold. So I've got more compost now to top up these beds with, and I think the snow will have all but gone by later on today. So I may get a chance to do this before it gets dark. I've been round and filled up all the bird feeders, and I bought some beautiful wholemeal bread which was starting to go off in the shops, so I got it just for a small fraction of the price, you know, the original price. So I've been putting it out here for the birds because they of course like to have the wholemeal bread, which is filled with all different kinds of grains. So I'll be looking for some more of that today. So the snow hasn't done much really to interfere with the general movement towards spring, as you can see. And of course where you have trees and plants and bushes, you've got a lot of shelter for the earth. So the earth manages to maintain a kind of a snow-free and quite often a frost-free environment. Now I've put some seeds into the top of this hanging basket. This, by the way, is quite a good way to create a little bird feeder, to literally just fill your hanging basket with a bit of soil and put your food on the top. In this case, of course, there's a little bit of heather in there which may or may not come back, but definitely it's going to benefit this beautiful ivy. So I've got to get some more fat balls today. There's all the snow melting off the side of the barn. And then I was looking round at these beds and I was looking at all the willow here behind this shed. So I'm going to be cutting that down as well, coppicing it, because of course with willow, you know, you give it a jolly good old cut back and it comes up then very abundantly. So I've got lots there which I can cut and log. Managed to get in touch with my grandson, one of my grandsons, who's going to come up on Monday, hopefully, and wash the Polytunnel. He's a great tall chappie, so that won't be too difficult for him to do. And he's a brilliant worker. He works very, very hard, you know, he just keeps going at it. So, and that's a little bit of income for him as well, which is good. It's always good to, you know, create a little bit of employment for people here and there, wherever you can. Lots of signs of spring. You can see all the vibes starting to come out beautifully. As I said, the snow hasn't diminished anything. It's weighed down a little bit on plants, but those plants will soon spring back up. Now over here as well, now that I'm in this last big prune before spring, or last big coppice before spring, I was looking over here at this beautiful hazel, and you can see where the hazel's growing from down there, but you can also see just how vigorous the hazel is. It's going right up. It's about, at least 20 foot high. Now the hazel makes incredibly good supports for peas and beans. Fantastic. And of course absolutely thrives on being coppiced, and you can see where I coppiced that. I was a little bit you know, wary of coppicing when I started, but I coppiced that years ago, and look how vigorous it's come up, and in this little corner as well, which doesn't get a lot of sunlight or anything, but it's been wonderfully vigorous. So I'm going to be coppicing that, so taking out maybe about half of it probably. It is supporting this beautiful rose. This is a lovely rambling rose. This is the one that goes that beautiful shade of lemony cream. So it's kind of supporting that. You can see the rose coming down through it. So I'm going to be very careful about taking off the branches on this side. And look how vigorous that cordyline is now. Isn't that amazing? It seems to really love that tree, and the tree loves it. People talk about companion planting, you know, but that almost seems like a throwaway a throwaway remark, you know, companion planting. But if you look closely at plants and trees and shrubs, no plant or tree or shrub likes to grow in isolation. They actually like to be with companions. And I have yet to see anything growing with a companion that it doesn't like. These are little peach trees. So I've also got a lot of ribes to take down, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that flower, because that's going to be great for the bees. And once the flowering is over, then I'm going to cut that back hard, because that's the real time to do that. So I'm pruning a little bit of this Photinia, which is red robin. It's all about letting in the light, you know, and just keeping everything in balance. Oh, there's my loppers. I was looking for them yesterday, thinking, where on earth? Look, this is what gardeners do. Well, this gardener does. Most gardeners don't. Oh, they're heavy. So, got lots of willow to move from here as well. And you can see I still haven't actually finished clearing through here. Lots of cut bits that I need to move. But quite happy with what I've done so far. Because you do a little bit every day. Even if it's only for half an hour. You get things done. And then the cumulative effect means that you've got a lot done. Now, the birds are all singing, they're happy enough. They've got their food. Just put these loppers down there. Oh, the one thing that did happen which kind of upset me when I was planting the trees. Look, you see this beautiful... Let me just take it up from here. See this lovely hoe? It's a special one, you know, it's one of those ones for digging as opposed to just hoeing. Well, it snapped off, didn't it? It snapped off, look. So I've got to get that put back onto a new pole. Anyway. So there we go. Very important when there's snow on the ground to keep the birds fed. That's very important. There's a little robin out there. He's a cheeky little boy. He doesn't seem to mind human beings being around. It's Jack running through the film. Oh, running back through the film. Jack's quite happy when he's sort of engaged in whatever it is he's engaged in. Now I will have to fix this drip. Look at the strip coming down. It's where the join is up there. Drat. Anyway, that's it. That's my little show and tell in the gardens in mid-January. Moving inexorably now towards Immock. And there's about, well, there's over half an hour more daylight every day, which is incredibly uplifting. Because I noticed that by about 8:30 in the morning, it's light enough to go outside. And it stays light now until well gone 5 o'clock. So, probably getting towards 9 hours if you're out and your eyes get adjusted to the failing light, which is what I do. I stay out until literally I can't see my hand in front of my face. It's a beautiful little scene, isn't it? Because you can see the winter and you can see the spring. So we're at this beautiful fertile edge, you know? Within permaculture, the fertile edge is where it's all at. And it's so often ignored. You know, we so often ignore the fertile edge because we don't see it. But when you're aware of it and you're looking at it, you can see this bigger picture. Blessings to you all. Oh, and it's Friday as well, so have a beautiful weekend. And tomorrow, well, I'll be working hard in the garden and happily making another little show and tell video of what's happening here in January. Now there's the little robin who's just gone into that little copper hanging basket, hanging bowl. It's a little copper bowl. I can hear him pecking in there. So I put seeds in there, you see. Let's see when he pops out. I can still hear him pecking in there. Very slight little banging noise. He's having a good old feed, isn't he? There he is. Blessings to you all.